It's a lovely morning. Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to Issues in the Dailies live on Glow 99.1 FM, Ijapwa State, Akure. It is our newspaper review program where we read out headline stories from national news tabloids. We've got quite a number of them to read from this morning to get you abreast of the latest making it around in Nigeria. And of course, we've got different aspects for the program. We'll read headline stories first. We'll come back with a juicy part of them. And of course, by 7:35 or thereabouts, our analysts will join us to provide insightful analysis to some of the stories read in the person of Dr. Segun Akeredolu, who is a legal savvy and a public affairs analyst. You can also call any of the studio lines right after his session to bear your thoughts as a Nigerian. My name is Mike Alim Obafemi. Reading with me this morning.
I am Joshua Abimbala. Thank you so much for joining us on the midweek edition of the Issues and the Dailies, coming to you live from Glow 99.1 FM. It is time yet again to keep you abreast of what is happening nationally, internationally, and also continentally. When the time is right, we'll open up the phone lines to definitely for you to bear your thoughts. And also, we are live on Facebook at Glow 99.1 FM, Akure. Join us on Facebook, drop your comments, and also like the post. And also, we will definitely take your comments on the Facebook platform as well. Well, this morning, first, the headlines. On the Daily Post newspaper this morning, PDP sinks deeper as Fubara Adeleke formally dump party.
Right, and of course, a group urge a probe of alleged torture, extortion in Niger base.
Okay, on the Punch newspaper this morning, reps summon ministers over budget underperformance.
Insurgency, federal government, Saudi Arabia signed 5-year military pact.
PDP attacks APC over Fubara's defection.
All right, so now to other stories from the Daily Post newspaper. Adeleke joins a court party, promises more.
U.S. congressman visits Benue State, seeks global attention to IDP crisis.
Sanwo-Olu inaugurates a new LASU governing council.
Turaki's NWC gains momentum as power brokers storm Abuja.
Federal High Court condemns the use of Justice Ojuku's photo for murdered Ojuku.
We won't let those who are accepted into PDP kill our party, Yesom Wike.
Right, Soyinka slams Tinubu over Benin intervention, condemns Lagos demolition of as inhuman.
All right, still on Benin. Airspace violations, Nigeria's Sahel states differ over detained aircraft soldiers.
Cools what Nigeria must do to achieve political stability. That's from human rights lawyer Femi Falana, SAN.
Senate condemns exorbitant fares by local airline operators.
There are over 600,000 Christians in IDPs in Benue State. That's according to U.S. Congressman Moo.
State police death penalty for kidnappers will address insecurity, Southwest leaders.
Right, son. Cool. Tinubu should have sent his son, Sheyi, to Benin Republic, not Air Force. That's coming from Wale Soyinka.
Well, Soyinka decries Sheyi Tinubu's excessive security escorts.
Of course, the battery recycling poses major public health threat, researchers speak.
Still on Benin Republic matter, ECOWAS fears coup surge. Senate okays Nigerian troops deployment.
All right, Edo Assembly Committee inspects a project.
All right, still on the Punch newspaper, Abuja man planning to buy ammunition for bandits arrested.
Why education financing should be diversified. That's coming from Shatima and NGF.
All right, still on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, disqualifying us from Osun APC primary is a joke and a total embarrassment, Iyolo Mishori.
Right, so why our aircraft made precautionary landing in Burkina Faso? That's NAF there, the Nigerian Air Force speaking.
Benin Republic failed coup. AAC condemns Tinubu government over military intervention.
Right, the Senate invites Kayamo over rising airfares.
All right, still on the Vanguard newspaper, Senate approves Tinubu's request to deploy troops to Benin Republic.
Right, so state police death penalty for kidnappers will address insecurity. Southwest
I
leaders.
think that's very popular. Okay, Reps gives NNPCL December 15 deadline to respond to 2021 audit queries.
Right, let's hope that is taken care of as well. Implementation of new tax law will be responsible, humane. That's coming from Tegbe.
How France provided logistical support to help thwart Benin coup.
Okay, fake fertility specialist arrested in Ogun for alleged scale of unapproved drugs.
A little bit of business. China moves to fast track zero tariff access for Nigerian exports.
Lagos vows to remove buildings under high tension power lines.
Okay, still on the Punch newspaper this morning. Enugu to ban tricycles, minibuses as BRT rollout begins.
Shatima admits millions of out of school children a national emergency.
All right, still on the Punch newspaper. Police seal mortuary hotel over kidnapping, organ harvesting.
Well, I think that's something that should actually stop. All right, a protest in Adamawa community over killing of women.
Persons with disabilities demand inclusivity, equal rights. On the Punch newspaper this morning.
That's another angle there because we're all in the same society. All right, cashier arraigned in Abuja over 687,000 naira.
EFCC detains ex-Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami.
Right, Senate queries Education Minister Wahik over SSE guidelines.
This and many more coming shortly on the program.
Right, we now proceed on a break. When we get back, we'll take the juicy part of the stories and you can engage us much later. Stay with us.
Attention everyone, do you know that persons with disabilities have the right to accessible, affordable and qualitative healthcare under the National Disability Act 2018? Do you know they are also entitled to inclusive social protection? But a recent survey indicates people with disabilities have been largely left out of these basic needs and support that are enshrined in the law of the land. This is not fair. All hands must therefore be on deck to ensure hospitals are accessible, healthcare affordable, and bursary, scholarships and empowerment programs are accessible for PWDs without discrimination. Let's come together to build an understate where no one is left behind.
Ètò ìlera tó péye tí ó wà ní àrọ́wọ́tó ni ó lè mú kí àkàndá ẹ̀dá gbé ìgbé ayé ìrọ̀rùn gẹ́gẹ́ bí àlàkalẹ̀ lábẹ́ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ ni ètò ìrónilágbára tí a yà sọ́tọ̀ fún àwọn àkàndá láìsí ìdẹ́yẹsí ni ó lè lé iṣẹ́ àti òṣì kúrò ní àárín wọn. Nítorí náà, ó tó àkókò láti ṣùgbọ́n àwọn àkàndá ẹ̀dá nípínlẹ̀ Ondo láti lè débi ìlépa wọn láyé.
This campaign is brought to you by Disability Not a Barrier Initiative, DNAB Nigeria, with funding from Disability Rights Fund, DRF.
All right, welcome back from that quick commercial. Don't forget, you can also bring in your advert on the program by calling the studio lines at 070-3212-0921 or 080-5482-0000. Those are the marketing lines to also bring your commercials and services for a larger audience on Glow 99.1 FM. All right, starting off from the Punch newspaper this morning, Reps summon ministers over budget underperformance. The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, and the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Mr. Atiku Bagudu, over poor budget implementation. The House held a closed session with Edun Bagudu, the Accountant General of the Federation, Samsudeen Ogunjimi, and the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Zach Adedeji. A lawmaker who attended the session told newsmen in confidence that the meeting focused on the poor implementation of the capital component of the 2024 and 2025 budget. He said lawmakers expressed deep frustration over the government's failure to release funds for projects already executed. As a result, the House resolved not to consider the 2026 appropriation bill until the federal government clears outstanding payment owed to contractors under the 2024 and 2025 budget cycles. In protest, the House stepped down consideration of about 42 bills listed for first, second, and third readings. It also deferred the presentation of 4 committee reports on bills proposing the establishment of agricultural colleges and specialized institutions in Kaduna, Edo, and other states. For the third time, the House also suspended its planned consideration of the Constitution Review report submitted last week by the Committee on Constitution Review. The executive section lasted nearly 2.5 hours and ended without an official briefing. You can read for more on the Punch newspaper this morning with the headline, Rep summon ministers over budget underperformance.
All right, in the Nation newspaper, Senate invites Keyamo over rising affairs. The Senate yesterday summoned the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo SAN, alongside key industry stakeholders for an urgent meeting. The summons followed widespread public outcry over the sharp rise in domestic affairs. During plenary yesterday, the Senate decried the rise in the prices of airfares on major roads, including Abuja to Lagos, Abuja to Enugu, and Abuja to Ilorin, saying these have surged to between 400,000 naira to 650,000 naira, a range many Nigerians can no longer afford. In its resolution, the Senate committee condemned the sudden and excessive rise in airfares nationwide, mandated that the immediate summoning of all relevant aviation stakeholders, called for urgent measures to prevent exploitation and ensure affordable travel during the Yuletide season. Equally directed Aviation Committee to present recommendations at the next plenary. Presenting the motion, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation, Abdul Fatai Buhari, representing Oyo North, stated that the preliminary investigation indicated a growing number of Nigerians were unable to travel due to drastic fares hike. Check for more from the Nation newspaper.
Still on Senate matters, on the Vanguard newspaper, Senate approves Tinubu's request to deploy troops to Benin Republic. The Senate acts expeditiously approved the request by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin for a peace mission. According to the Senate, confirming and approving President Tinubu's decision to deploy troops to the neighboring Republic of Benin as part of a peace mission, a failed coup attempt against President Patrice Talon was to save unnecessary criminality and disruption of properties. The Senate resolved into the Committee of the Whole, where it received a letter from the President requesting approval. Just as the Senate leaders, Senator Kweyemi Bamidele from APC, Ekiti Central, moved that the Senate should discuss the letter. Thereafter, they resolved into the Committee of the Whole to discuss the urgent request. There was no discussion, as it did not take them 2 minutes to revert to plenary to expeditiously approve the request. President Tinubu had earlier on Tuesday written to the Senate seeking its consent to deploy to the Benin Republic for combat operations in another country. The letter was read on Tuesday by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. According to the President, the letter, which was in sequel to Section 5, Subsection 5 of 1999 Constitution as amended, also became imperative following the need for peacekeeping as a sister country. The President said that deploying the troops was a result of a request by the Benin Republic for assistance and considering the close ties of friendship and brotherhood. The letter was titled Deployment of Nigerian Troops to Benin Republic for Peace Mission. The distinguished Senate may wish to note that the government of the Republic of Benin is currently faced with an attempted unconstitutional seizure of power and disruption of the stabilization of democratic institutions. We can definitely read for more on that particular story on the Vanguard newspaper, where we have Senate approves Tinubu's request to deploy Nigerian troops to Benin Republic.
All right, CSOs of fault HT NAS approval of Tinubu's request to send troops to Benin Republic. That is seen in the Vanguard newspaper. Some civil society groups have faulted the HT way and manner the National Assembly approved President Bola Tinubu's request to send Nigerian soldiers to Republic of Benin. which recently experienced a military coup. Right, you check more for more of that story in the Vanguard newspaper. Quite a number of other news tabloids equally reported it this morning.
Exactly.
Check for more.
All right, let's go a little bit to politics, where we have on the Punch newspaper: PDP attacks APC over Fubara's defection. The People's Democratic Party on Tuesday blasted the All Progressive Congress over the defection of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, accusing the ruling party of orchestrating the political crisis that pushed Fubara out of the PDP. Reactions emerged from both the state and national levels of the opposition party, with leaders insisting that Fubara's exit neither weakened the PDP nor altered its structure in Rivers State. On Tuesday, Fubara officially announced his defection from the PDP to the APC. Fubara joined Delta State Governor Sheriff Obrevori, Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno, Enugu State Governor Peter Umba, and his Bayelsa State colleague Doye Zidiri, all of whom defected from the opposition PDP. With Fubara's official declaration, all 6 states in the South-South, which is Edo, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Delta, and Cross River, are governed by the APC. Fubara, speaking during an emergency stakeholders meeting at the Government House, Port Harcourt, on Tuesday, said he left his former party for 2 reasons. First, that the main opposition party could not protect him, and second, that he is still being addressed as His Excellency, the Governor, rather than former Governor, because of President Bola Tinubu. At the meeting held 24 hours after visiting the presidential villa, Abuja, Fubara said his defection was in the interest of the state. He also pointed out that he got assurances of the president of his support after their meeting in Abuja on Monday evening. Fubara continued that everyone who followed him and suffered with him made the decision today that they are moving to the ruling All Progressive Congress. He also made the declaration to remove the PDP flag from the government house, as he said, "We don't need it here again. Now that our position has been made clear, every other formal process will commence. Let me thank you all for your support, and please remove this PDP flag." Well, Fubara saying, and I quote, but the Tanimu Turaki-led National Publicity Secretary of PDP on Tuesday warned that Nigeria's democracy was in danger, stressing that the ruling party's push toward a one-party system and shrinking of the political space posed a serious threat. The party, however, expressed pity for Fubara for defecting to the APC, insisting that his political troubles were self-inflicted, having willingly taken the path that led to his current predicament. Well, you can read for more on that on the Punch newspaper this morning, where we have PDP blast APC over Fubara's defection.
All right, 1,660 delegates to pick up APC gubernatorial candidates on Saturday. And of course, from the Nation newspaper, Fubara joins APC as Adeleke picks up party tickets. Right, why we changed parties by governors. 2 major developments involving 2 governors that will shape the political firmament took place yesterday. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara defected to the All Progressive Congress. He dumped the PDP, the party whose platform he was elected in the year 2023. All right, in the southwest part of the country, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke, who last month resigned from the People's Democratic Party, is set to actually pick up the ticket of the Accord Party to seek re-election next year. Adeleke will be sole aspirant in today's primary. He will be handed the ticket at an event slated for Osogbo, the state capital. And ahead of today's event, Adeleke, who announced yesterday his membership to the party, which he claimed to have joined since November 5th, posted a video of himself wearing a cap with the party's logo, singing and dancing in his characteristic manner. The Accord flag was hoisted in front of the Osun State Government Secretariat at Bere in Osogbo yesterday. Please check for more in the Nation newspaper.
On the Punch newspaper, away from defection problems, U.S. congressman visits Benue, seeks global attention to IDP crisis. United States Congressman Riley Moore on Wednesday shared account of violence against Christian communities in Benue State, recounting what he said he was told during a visit to camps for the IDPs. Writing on his X handle, Moore said, while in Benue, he met dozens of Christians who were driven from their homes and subjected to horrific violence and now live in IDP camps. According to the congressman, those he spoke with described attacks that left entire families dead and forced survivors to flee their villages. They told harrowing stories that will remain with him for the rest of his life. More cited. He also cited the case of one woman who said was forced to watch as they killed her husband and 5 children. She and her unborn children had barely escaped. Another woman, he added, told him her family was murdered in front of her and her baby was ripped from her womb. Moore also described the testimony of a man who said his family was hacked to death in front of his eyes and his arm was permanently mangled. The congressman stated that more than 600,000 Christians are currently living in IDP camps in Benue State, a region that has experienced years of conflict between farming communities and armed groups. These Christians should be able to live in their ancestral homeland without fear of genocidal Fulani herdsmen, Moore wrote, calling for greater international attention to the crisis. Moore had earlier posted that he met Tiv and Catholic leaders during his visit to the state. You can read more on that particular story on the Punch newspaper, a very disturbing one, where we have U.S. congressman visits Benue State, seeks global attention to IDP crisis.
Right, U.S. Congressman Mood equally claims that there are over 600,000 Christians, IDPs, in Benue State alone. 600,000 Christians, and of course that's a very disturbing number. Millions of out-of-school children, a national emergency. Vice President Kashim Shettima yesterday raised the alarm that many millions of out-of-school children in the country have become a national emergency. According to him, it has become imperative for all hands to be on deck by the federal government, state and local governments, and all critical stakeholders in order to address the problem. Speaking at the 2025 Nigeria Education Forum, NEF, organized by the Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Education and other partners, Shettima said the crisis in the education sector could not be solved only by government effort and called for urgent action to ensure that no Nigerian was denied tertiary education due to financial constraint. And of course, also from the Punch newspaper this morning, insurgency, federal government, Saudi Arabia signed 5-year military pact. Federal government and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding aimed at strengthening defense and military cooperation between both countries. The agreement announced by the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Mohammed Bello Matawale, seeks to deepen collaboration in key security areas including military training, intelligence sharing, defense production and joint operation. Read for more from both ends of the Daily Post newspaper and the Punch.
All right, on the Vanguard newspaper, REPS gives NNPCL December 15 deadline to respond to 2021 audit queries. The Public Accounts Committee of the House of Rep has directed the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Engineer Bayo Ojulari, to submit all outstanding documents and appear before the committee on Monday, 15th December 2025, to address audit queries on expenditures from January to December 2021. The directive was issued by the committee's chairman, Honorable Bamidele Salam, during a sitting on Monday in Abuja. Honorable Salam expressed frustration over NNPCL's repeated failure to honor past invitations or provide requested documents despite multiple reminders. He also warned that the committee would no longer tolerate disregard for legislative oversight. During the session, the chairman read a letter from NNPCL in which the GCEO explained his absence, citing another critical official engagement at the presidential villa. Members of the PSC, however, criticized the company's conduct as disrespectful to the legislature chamber and obstructive to the audit review process. Following an appeal by NNPCL's National Assembly officer, Honorable Umar Farouk, the committee granted a final grace period, setting Monday, 15th December, for the company to appear and submit all requested documents. You can read for more on the Vanguard newspaper. House of Representatives gives NNPCL December 15 deadline to respond to 2021 audit queries.
Vanguard newspaper has this one. State police death penalty for kidnappers will address insecurity. Southwest leaders comes rider backs ban on open grazing in Yoruba land. Leaders of the Southwest under the aegis of the Southwest Security Stakeholder Summit have thrown their weight behind the call for state police and death penalty for kidnappers as a way of addressing the multifaceted security challenges in the country. Alright, they sued for the establishment of state police and equally more volunteering programs across the Southwest. Right, this is coming from major stakeholders of the Southwest, especially governors of the Southwest. Okay, I think this could be the way to, arrive at securing the Southwest perimeter as well.
Oh, well, still on Southwest matters, Osun APC elect 1,660 delegates for governor primaries. The 1,660 delegates that would elect the candidate of the All Progressive Congress in the December 13th governorship primaries of the party have emerged. The 5 delegates per 332 wards in the state were elected in the Congress held on Tuesday across the state. Announcing the result of the Congress at the party state secretariat in Oshogbo on Tuesday evening, the chairman, 2025 Osun State APC Gubernatorial Congress Delegate Committee, Shehu Dange, commended the participants for ensuring peace during the exercise. He said, "I am happy to announce to you that at the end of the collation of the World Congress to elect delegates, a total of 1,660 delegates were elected." He also urged APC members in the state to continue their support for President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Ex-Managing Director, National Inland Waterways Authority, Bola Oyebamiji, and also ex-lawmaker representing Ifelodun State constituency in the Osun State House of Assembly, Mulikat Abiola, have been cleared by the national leadership of the party for the Saturday's primary. 7 other aspirants were, however, disqualified by the committee. Those disqualified include Senator Iyola Omishore, Senator Jide Omoworare, ex-deputy governor Benedict Alabi, Mr. Dotumba Bayemi, Mr. Kunle Adegoke, SAN, and Dr. Akin Ogumbiyi. Well, you can read for more on that particular story on the Punch newspaper, where we have Osun APC elect 1,660 delegates for governor primaries.
Right, and in Ondo State, decades after Idiatua revives when a dam water project, and it has these riders, over 1.3 million residents to access portable water. Gov says project will unlock irrigation, fisheries, renewed energy, tourism potential, launches solar-powered irrigation pumps, water quality kit for households and farmers. And also from the Hope newspaper be accessible to the grassroots. Oyebanji urges cabinet members. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has urged members of his reappointed cabinet to remain accessible to the grassroots and deepen the engagement with local communities ahead of the 2026 gubernatorial election in Ekiti State. Oyebanji gave the charge on Tuesday during the inauguration of the recalled commissioners and special advisors into the state Executive Council. Read for more from both ends of the Hope newspaper.
Still on Southwest matters, but a very rather disturbing one coming from Oyo State. 1 dies in Oyo fire, 2 rescued. One person lost alive in a fire incident at Agbakin Street behind testing ground, Iwo Road, Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. This was contained in a statement by the chairman of the State Fire Service, Maruf Akinwade, in Ibadan on Tuesday. He said the fire resulted from a lighted charcoal cooking pot left unattended to, which ignited nearby combustible materials. Akinwande also added that the firefighting operation was successfully carried out with the support of officers of the Federal Fire Service. The fire emergency was received at exactly 2018 hours, December 8. On getting there, it was 2 rooms on the upper floor of a private residential building of 12 rooms engulfed by fire. He said, and I quote, "In a related development, a fire incident on Tuesday again engulfed the Agric Business Development Agency at Total Garden in Ibadan." A statement by the State Fire Service Chairman Akinwade said the agency received a telephone call through Mr. Kinyenka reporting that fire had ravaged the place. No casualty was, however, recorded at the Agribusiness Development Agency fire, and properties worth millions of naira were also saved by the fire service. The fire incident was as a result of electrical sparks from the inverter system. The chairman therefore advised the public to always use correct cables and also make sure that all electrical appliances and electrical materials are correct for their installations. Well, I think this is a particular time in the year where we'll see news like this, but we definitely hope the fire service are also, accessible very, very early this time around.
And people should equally listen to early warnings like this one. Equally, it happened, an activity, recycling activity in Ogijo, Ogun State. We actually created a serious public health threat and, heavy metal. Why? Because they're saying battery recycling poses major public health threat and people should stop doing so. Let's look at a few headline stories before we flip the page. It's almost time. On coup, Tinubu should have sent his son, Sheyi, to Benin Republic, not Air Force. Wale Soyinka speaks this morning and he said he's actually faulting Tinubu's decision to send the Nigerian Air Force to Benin Republic in the wake of a failed coup. He spoke at the 20th Wale Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism Award in Lagos on Monday. Still on what Soyinka said, he said, why I reported Tinubu's son to Nuhu Ribadu, who is the National Security Advisor, is actually called on Ribadu's attention after discovering the heavy armed security personnel in Sheyi Tinubu's security detail. He said he parades too many security men, and that should not, continue.
Well, joining that story on the Punch newspaper, I think Soyinka is saying a lot this morning. Professor Wale Soyinka says President Bola Tinubu must be cautious about his approach to regional security, domestic governance, and the use of state protection for privileged individuals. Soyinka had recounted an encounter which he described as recent in Ikoyi, Lagos State, that left him shocked at what he considered an extravagant display of state security. He described seeing an excessively large security battalion assigned to a young individual close to the presidency. An entourage, he said, was sufficient to take over a small country. Soyinka revealed that the young man turned out to be Sheyi Tinubu, the president's son. He said the discovery concerned him enough to contact the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu. He said, and I quote, "I was astonished," he said, adding that children must understand their place. They are not elected leaders and they must not inherit the architecture of state power simply by proximity. Well,
thank you for that background, because that was where the man was speaking from.
Exactly.
Falana is equally in the news. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has highlighted the measures Nigeria should take to help strengthen democracy and promote stability across West Africa following a recent coup in the region. According to him, there is the need for civic freedom to be expanded and condemn the practice of treating dissent as a crime. Lagos community cries out as homes, businesses demolished without notice, and Lagos state government is equally saying any building under power line will be demolished. Two different stories, and I think people should take it. We now proceed on a break. We'll be back.
There's a particular
okay, there's
story,
one.
a very disturbing one. Edo final year student dies in sign-out motorcade crash. Well, a yet to be identified final year student of Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, Edo State, has lost his life in a road crash after he and some other students embarked on a motorcade parade to celebrate the completion of their final examination.
That could have been avoided.
I really don't know. Final years.
Well, all right. Well, final year, and it's sad. Very Dark Man was just there a few months ago to put, stuffs on the road to reduce overspeeding. We'll be back. Please stay with us. Good morning, Dr. Shagun Akeredolu, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Glory people of Ondo State. Good morning, Nigerian. It's my pleasure to be on the program again today. And thank you, Glory FM, for affording me the opportunity to be here.
Well, right. Thank you so much, sir. Let us start off from U.S. Congressman's visit to Nigeria. Particularly, he visited Benue State, where we've had so many regional clashes between farmer herders clashes, and also what it describes as a Christian genocide currently going down in that part of the country. Okay, we saw he recounted so many of his ordeals, where he even specifically mentioned that he met over 600,000 Christians in IDP camps in Benue State. Well, we've not seen the statistics coming from us, really, but I can confirm that in recent times, we've seen some of this as well, in which most has been debunked as not being a Christian genocide.
I think he said a number of things. He highlighted a number of things.
A lot of things right there, where we saw so many from that. Probably when we get back, connect back with Dr. Akeredolu, have his thoughts on that particular story. Okay, we're back with him, I suggest.
All right, we're back. All right, Mo, U.S. Congressman. Are you there with us?
Yes, I'm here now.
So, U.S. Congressman highlighted a lot of things, the ordeals of persons, badly affected by insurgency and stuff. But now he's equally, saying numbers that, there were
about 600,000 Christians physically
in the IDPs.
In IDP camps.
What? Hello?
What with you? Are we doing enough, for the persons affected?
Definitely, we are not doing enough in area of security, or in terms of trying to help the victims of this crime, or in terms of trying to prevent the crime, or in trying to bring the person that have committed this crime to the book. When we put all these things together, honestly, we are not doing enough as a country. Now, what happened on Sunday has also changed my perspective and my opinion about a lot of things, a lot of problems we're having about security in Nigeria. You recall about 6 or 7 months ago, we talked about this problem of or the capability and capacity of Nigeria Air Force to tackle or to confront any of this problem. You realize that Boko Haram or anywhere, there are certain place. Now we have Air Force that have a fighter jet that can take off from Abuja, from Lagos, from Kaduna, and get to anywhere in Nigeria within 30 minutes. Now, what's stopping them from uprooting this thing from these people from whatever, and at whatever cost, the collateral damage that is going to cause Nigeria? If you can leave Nigeria and go to Benin Republic, and bring back democracy there, now you should be able to go to anywhere in Nigeria
and restore order.
Remove those people that are causing the problem and restore order. That is my point. That is my thinking. We have the capacity. We have the men. We have the But the only problem is the willpower on the part of the leaders to make sure that they do this. And perhaps we also begin to see that people that are behind this, they are stronger, they are bigger than we can ever imagine in Nigeria today. So we need external support. And I'm very sure the outcome of that visit to Nigeria, at the end of the day, will influence how Nigeria will react henceforth to security challenges, especially the borders of terrorism, kidnapping, and herdsmen troubles and killing of people anyhow in Nigeria. I'm very sure that will affect that.
All right. As of this morning, Falana is of the opinion that Nigeria might need to do a bit more and promote democracy and stability across West Africa. But Soyinka is a bit critical this morning, and he said Tinubu should have sent his son, Sheyi, to Republic of Benin and not the Nigerian Air Force. Do you think he's sarcastically, speaking? Equally, he said he even reported him.
There was an incident where he met Sheyi Tinubu with a lot of escorts that could manage a small country, that he could have been sent to Benin Republic with those escorts if he needed to send someone as a delegate, instead of sending our army troops that are not even enough for us in Nigeria to even combat terrorism.
Well, honestly, I was taken aback a little when I heard or I read about Wole Soyinka aspect to this discussion. Wole Soyinka is somebody I respect so much. It's somebody that have achieved so much that anybody will want to aspire to be, and Yoruba culture. Otherwise, I would have disagreed with Wole Soyinka on that. Wole Soyinka is somebody who dictates military rule anywhere, anyhow, and written about the wickedness of military rule anywhere in the world. In his book, The Sudan, in The Man Died, in most of his books. So if to me, if Tinubu is doing anything to restore democracy anywhere in the world, I don't think. Now, if you want to think about that, the question is, Sheyi Tinubu a military man? Is he a soldier? Did he at any point enroll in Nigerian military or Nigerian army forces? I think that it's a little, well, this is my personal opinion, but as I said, I respect Wole Soyinka, Professor, so much.
I was even asking that, is it like the elder statesman is speaking sarcastically that when your son is busy, moving around with heavy security, maybe you should even go to another country and maintain peace there, because why will he be,
Thank you, Femi, for bringing my attention to that one too. I've always said how your son is not the president of Nigeria. United States of America, there was this story of even when Obama was the president of the United States of America, the two daughters, everywhere they are going, they are only assigned 2 security men. And even these 2 security men, they are undercover agency of the aspect of the security, not going about in convoys, in government vehicles. And I think that is a shame to Nigeria. That simply means that Nigeria, we are still underdeveloped and we are not even growing at all in respect of social justice. I would say this: one of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria is social injustice. How can you assign so much? Though I did not see the picture, I did not know anything. But for Wole Soyinka, Professor Wole Soyinka, to have said that, I was so moved that he had to write a letter or petition to the national advisor. It means something. It means something. It means something. And I think the Tinubu administrator and the Minister of Defense should also look at that. I think that is annoying. And when I say it's even causing a lot of problem, and it's making Tinubu a target for attack. A lot of people will not like that, and I don't like it too. Definitely, Wole Soyinka, Professor, does not like that.
Okay. Well, from Wole Soyinka, let's move a little bit down here, politics to Southwest. Well, we witnessed yesterday some changes in Southwest, and I can confirm to you that Governor Ademola Adeleke has officially dumped the PDP, where he has resigned almost some weeks